Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. Alhamdulillah, today we are still given health and opportunities by the Almighty God to meet today's only meeting. Before introducing me, Alia, as moderator of Group H. So today my group friends and I will present the material entitled Language Contact 1, Maintenance, Saves, and Date. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, before going to the discussion, I will introduce the members of Group H. The first presenter, Andi Zahra Nurul Afia. Second presenter, Winda Sudirman. Third presenter, Ninin Carmila. And I, the last presenter. Next slide, please. Next slide. The slide, even. Next slide, please. Okay, here are the points of material that we will discuss today. 1. Introduction and language borrowing. 2. Language maintenance, shift and date. 3. Cause of language shift. 4. Gender and language shift. 5. Case study, Native American language. 6. Reversing language shift. And the last, conclusion. Okay, to save time, let's get straight to it. First presenter, Andi Zahra Nurul Afia. Please, time is yours.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thanks for the time was given to me. Well, I will explain about introduction and language borrowing, language maintenance, shift, and that. The first, introduction. Language contrasts occur when different languages come into contact, often through social interaction of colonization. This chapter looks at how language changes under this condition, focusing on how communities maintain or shift language when facing external pressures. So, kontak bahasa terjadi ketika bahasa-bahasa yang berbeda saling bersentuhan, seringkali melalui interaksi sosial atau kolonisasi. Next, language borrowing. Borrowing is when word or other language element for one language are adapted into another. For example, English in South Africa borrowed Daga and Donga from Zulu. Borrowing is different from code switching because it does not require a speaker to know both language fully. Language borrowing refers to the adaptation of language element, word, phrases, grammatical structure for one language into other. This can happen through various means, such as trade and commerce. Kontak antar budaya seringkali mengarah pada pertukaran barang dan ide yang juga dapat melibatkan peminjaman bahasa. Colonization and imperialism, yaitu pemaksaan suatu bahasa yang dominan pada populasi yang dijajah dapat mengakibatkan peminjaman yang ekstensif. Migration and immigration, yaitu pergerakan orang melintas perbatasan dapat membawa bahasa dan elemen linguistik baru ke dalam suatu daerah. For example, bahasa Inggris telah meminjam kata dari banyak bahasa termasuk Latin, Prancis, Yunani, dan bahasa-bahasa pribumi Amerika. Yang kedua, bahasa Jepang telah meminjam banyak kata dari bahasa Tionghoa dan Inggris. Next, language maintenance, shift, and that. The first, language maintenance. This refers to when a community continues to use its language despite pressure for a more dominant language. So, pemeliharaan bahasa mengacu pada upaya untuk melestarikan bahasa dan menghadapi tekanan atau ancaman dari luar. This can involve education, teaching the language in school and universities, media, using the language in newspaper, television, and radio, and culture activities, promoting the use of language in music, literature, and other culture event. For example, banyak komunitas pribumi di seluruh dunia berusaha untuk mempertahankan bahasa asli mereka, seringkali menghadapi tekanan globalisasi dan asimilasi. Dan yang kedua, upaya sedang dilakukan untuk menghidupkan kembali bahasa yang terancam punah, yaitu seperti Hawaii dan Maori. Second, language shift. This happens with a community gradually stop using its native language in favor of a dominant one. Hal ini terjadi ketika suatu komunitas secara bertahap berhenti menggunakan bahasa aslinya demi bahasa dominan. Hal ini dapat terjadi karena berbagai faktor seperti tekanan sosial dan ekonomi yang terjadi ketika suatu bahasa dikaitkan dengan status sosial yang lebih rendah atau peluang ekonomi yang terbatas. Penutur dapat beralih ke bahasa yang lebih bergengsi dan menguntungkan. Yang kedua, faktor politik. Faktor ini terjadi karena adanya pergeseran bahasa yang dipaksakan atau didorong oleh pemerintah karena ada alasan politik dan administratif. Yang ketiga, perubahan demografis. Perubahan demografis populasi seperti imigrasi dan emigrasi dapat menyebabkan pergeseran bahasa. The third, language death occur when the last speaker of a language stop using it. There are different types of language death, such as gradual and sudden. So, terjadi ketika penutur terakhir suatu bahasa berhenti menggunakannya. Ada beberapa jenis kematian bahasa seperti kematian yang bertahap, misalnya dari Gaelic ke Inggris, dan kematian yang tiba-tiba, misalnya bahasa Tasmania. Hal ini dapat terjadi karena adanya beberapa faktor, termasuk yang pertama pergeseran bahasa, faktor sosial dan politik, dan perubahan demografis. Pergeseran bahasa terjadi jika semua penutur suatu bahasa beralih ke bahasa lain. Bahasa aslinya pada akhirnya akan punah. Yang kedua, faktor sosial dan politik terjadi karena adanya diskriminasi, marginalisasi, atau pengabaian suatu bahasa dapat berkontribusi pada kematiannya. Dan terakhir adalah perubahan demografis, yaitu menurunnya jumlah populasi yang menua dapat menyebabkan kematian bahasa. For example, banyak bahasa pribumi telah punah akibat kolonisasi, asimilasi, dan faktor-faktor lainnya. Yang kedua, beberapa bahasa seperti Eyak dan Delaware dianggap punah karena tidak ada lagi penutur aslinya. Okay, I think that's all for me. I give back to the moderator. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Andi Zahra. Next presenter, Winda Sudirman. Please, time is yours.
Next slide, please. Okay, thank you for the opportunity. So the next material is about causes of language shift. Language shift occur when a community slowly abandons their native language and switches to using a more dominant language. However, not all communities experience the same lift. For the first, economic factors. Industrialization and migration often led to adapting a dominant language for better opportunities. So usually the main reason of language shift is increased access to better economic opportunities. In big cities like Makassar, many people in big cities like, for the first one, economic factors, industrialization and migration often led to adapting a dominant language for better opportunities. Usually, in the main reason of language shift to increase access to better economic opportunities, in big cities like Makassar, many people have started to switch to using Bahasa Indonesia because it is considered more relevant in the world of work and business. Bahasa Indonesia provides greater access to careers and economic life. For example, banyak orang di kota besar seperti Makassar beralih menggunakan bahasa Indonesia karena dianggap lebih relevan dalam dunia kerja dan bisnis. Dengan bahasa Indonesia, mereka bisa merasa lebih mudah mendapatkan pekerjaan dan kesempatan ekonomi yang lebih baik dan berkomunikasi dengan baik kepada sesama rekan kerja. The second one is demographics. Smaller or dispersed communities are more vulnerable of language to loss. In denser, more centralized communities, such as in Bugis areas, the local language tends to be stronger because it is still used in everyday life. Wih, mau mati. Waktunya, weh. Second, democratic factors. In denser, more centralized communities such as in Bugis area, the local language tends to be stronger because it is still used in everyday life. Bugis people who live in their own areas tend to maintain their language because the surrounding of environment support it. For example, in school in rural Bugis areas, teachers still often use Bugis communication with students, especially outside of formal lessons taught in Bahasa Indonesia. This keep the Bugis language alive and well. And the third one is institutional support. Education, media, and religion can help preserve or weaken a language. In some Bugis areas, the use of Bugis is not only limited to the home, but it's also supported by educational institution. A school in rural areas in Sulawesi often still allow the use of local language, including Bugis or Sidrap, to aid the teaching and learning process. With this support, the Bugis language has survived and is still used by younger generation. For example, sekolah di pedesaan Sulawesi Selatan mendukung penggunaan bahasa Bugis untuk membantu proses belajar mengajar seperti di Sidrap. And the last one is cultural status. Language with higher prestige like English tend to replace a lower status language. Like the Bugis people, their language has a high culture status. It is not only a means of communication, but also a symbol of identity and cultural pride. Bugis people maintain this language as a sign of their difference from other groups and as part of the cultural heritage they wish to preserve. For example, dalam upacara adat seperti Mapaci, orang-orang Bugis sering menggunakannya untuk menyimbolkan identitas budaya mereka sendiri. Ini menunjukkan bahwa bahasa Bugis bukan hanya alat komunikasi, tetapi juga lambang kebanggaan dan warisan budaya mereka juga. Okay, I think that's all from me, and I give it back to the moderator.
Okay, thank you, Winda Sudirman. Next presenter, Ninin Carmila. Please, time is yours.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. So, please next slide. Okay, so the next material is about the gender and language shift. Gender role in shift. In many cases, women lead the shift to a dominant language as they associate it with progress. For example, in Oberwart, younger women chose to speak German over Hungarian to distance themselves from Persian life. However, there are also cases where men shift this call. There are also cases where men shift faster, as seen among the Yaku people in Kenya. So, Pergeseran bahasa yang dipicu oleh gender mencerminkan dinamika sosial yang kompleks. Memahami bagaimana gender memengaruhi penggunaan bahasa, membantu kita mengenali pola-pola dalam masyarakat dan tantangan yang dihadapi dalam melestarikan bahasa dan budaya. Upaya untuk mengatasi pergeseran ini harus melibatkan kesadaran akan peran gender dalam penggunaan bahasa, serta promosi bahasa lokal sebagai bagian penting dari identitas budaya. Next slide. Okay, the next is case study, Native American language. The first, language maintains. Despite 400 years of colonization, about 200 Native American languages still survive in the US and Canada. Communities are often committed to maintain their language even under great pressure. Scroll down. The second is language shift. Many Native American languages have declined or died due to displacement, but some new forms like your English have emerged blending Native and English elements. So, pemeliharaan bahasa asli Amerika adalah sebuah usaha yang kompleks dan penuh tantangan, tetapi juga menunjukkan ketahanan dan kreativitas komunitas yang berkomitmen untuk melestarikan identitas budaya mereka. Meskipun mengalami penjajahan dan tekanan yang signifikan, lebih dari 200 bahasa masih bertahan di Amerika Serikat dan Kanada berkat upaya kolektif dari generasi muda dan masyarakat luas. Program pendidikan bilingual, penggabungan unsur-unsur bahasa baru, serta dukungan melalui teknologi dan media modern memainkan peran penting dalam revitalisasi bahasa-bahasa ini. Dengan meningkatnya kesadaran tentang pentingnya pelestarian bahasa asli, berbagai inisiatif mulai bermunculan, melibatkan organisasi non-pemerintah, lembaga pendidikan, dan pemerintah dalam usaha mendukung bahasa tersebut. Kesadaran ini tidak hanya memperkuat identitas budaya, tetapi juga menumbuhkan rasa bangga di antara komunitas penutur bahasa asli. Melalui kombinasi upaya pemeliharaan, dukungan masyarakat, dan inovasi teknologi, ada harapan bahwa bahasa asli Amerika dapat terus hidup dan diwariskan kepada generasi mendatang, memperkaya keragaman budaya dunia. Maybe that's all for me. I give back to the moderator.
Okay, thank you, Ninin Carmila. Okay, next, I can explain reversing language shift. Okay, according to the Fishman model, GADS is a strategy to emphasize language shift that occurs when a community begins to abandon their native language to the dominant language. This process begins by involving adults who must learn and use the language in everyday life, so that children will be exposed to it naturally. Support from educational institutions and communities is also vital, as in the case of the Pura Kaupapa school in New Zealand, which teaches all subjects in Maori, or the Welsh language revitalization efforts in Wales. This commitment from various parties can ensure that minority language remain alive and are passed on to future generation. Untuk mudah memahami penjelasan saya tersebut, saya akan mengambil contoh dari bahasa Makassar. Jadi untuk mempertahankan bahasa Makassar di lingkungan generasi selanjutnya, tentunya dibutuhkan peran orang tua, di mana orang tua menggunakan bahasa Makassar dalam kehidupan sehari-hari mereka untuk berkomunikasi dengan anak-anak mereka untuk mempertahankan bahasa Makassar tersebut. Kemudian untuk dukungan dari institusi pendidikan, tentunya pelajaran bahasa daerah atau huruf lontara harus tetap ada untuk bisa mereka pelajari dan pahami, karena itu bahasa daerah mereka sendiri. Jadi mereka harus menguasai bahasa tersebut. I will present the conclusion of the entire discussion of today's material. So, language contact leads to change in language, including borrowing, shift, and sometimes language that communities may maintain the language despite external pressures, but factors like economic change, demographics, and institutional support can drive language shift. Gender also plays a role, with women often leading shifts towards dominant language. Despite these efforts to preserve and revive endangered language, such as Fishman GADS model, so that language laws can be reversed if communities commit to maintaining their linguistic heritage. Ultimately, preservation is key to protection, cultural identity, and diversity. Okay, guys. I think that's all. Today's presentation from Group H. Next session, we will open a question in online meeting when the answer on WhatsApp group. Please raise your hand. Yang ingin bertanya, silahkan angkat tangan.
Walau sakit tetap ku percaya kau beda dari langit.
Okay, Sri Dewi Sartika, read the question, please.
Thank you for the opportunity. So my question is, how does the national education policy that emphasize the mastery of Indonesian and foreign language affect the survival of local nation in Indonesia? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next, Siti Nafida DJ, please read the question.
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity. I want to ask about how are language borrowing, maintenance, shift, and data the interconnected? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next, Masita, read the question, please.
Okay, my question is, can you give an example where men reach to the dominant language more quickly than women?
Okay, thank you. Next, Vivi Alvinaila, please read the question.
Right, thank you so much for the time. So my question is, what role do individuals play in supporting language maintenance in their communities? Do you get it?
Okay, thank you. Next, Alia Pratiwi, please read the question.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. So my question is, are new language form emerging amidst the shift in Native American language? If yes, provide. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Alia Pratiwi. Next, Siti Arseli, please read the question.
Okay,
My question is modernization and urbanization is me.
Sorry, mute dulu.
Okay,
Unmute.
baca mi?
Yeah.
Okay, my question is modernization and urbanization always add threat to the survival of local language, or are
there are ways to use them as a means of preservation? I think that's all.
Okay, thank you. Next, Dewi Fitria, please write the question.
Okay, my question is, how can government police play a role in helping or hindering minority language revitalization efforts?
Okay, finish. Okay, guys. That's all for today's presentation from Group H. We thank you for your attention. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.